Okay, hi everyone, SoulServer17 here. And I don't own the picture, not pay video. So, if you guys are wondering about all my other videos, thought I made them. Well, I thought is that I really did basically had them made, and I couldn't upload. Like, I was having troubles with uploading, and me being a stupid idiot did not wait and try something else. I deleted them. I was just tired at that point. And I was like, you know what? They're probably corrupted. And then I basically went back into basically the next morning and, well, 2 days later actually, and tried to upload. I made like a quick short video and it didn't, and like just to see if it didn't work or not. Like with the upload and, yeah, no, it would upload. And I was like, what? I had like 3 videos I wanted to upload. And I didn't understand why they wouldn't upload. So I guess they were corrupted somehow, some way. I don't know. I mean, especially my solo leveling video I had in there. That's one of the things I was going to do. But the fact is, I only did like the part with basically, well, where some monsters were invading a hospital, replacing the school scene. But I'm kind of glad that part, of the video was deleted. Because, honestly, it was a school where Sun Jin-woo's sister was in, and, yeah. It didn't make sense for a hospital. I don't know why it came up with that part. I was, like, thinking to myself after it was, when I realized, oh, yeah. I'm actually kind of glad that was deleted, because that didn't make no sense, because I didn't have no one injured. So, good thing. I get to make it better. Now, enough of my chit-chat. Let's get into this video, because I wanted to at least finally start making the Fatalis Naruto videos. Yeah, I even tried to make this one, and I was just tired, and I screwed over at like 32 minutes. Which, to be honest, I'm just going to make this 32 minutes long, I think. Because I don't have enough time to make an hour-long video. But since it's the weekend, yeah, I can. But, yeah, screw it. I'm making basically 32 minutes videos for a couple videos if I do it on the weekdays. Yep. Okay, enough of that. Let's just get into it. So, this is What If Naruto, whatever, like Fatalis. I honestly don't remember the titles I put in for the series at the moment. But yeah, so, if I remember correctly, last time we left off is after the Chunin exams, second preliminary matches, to go into the third one-on-one. The Admiral, the Huntsman, and the basically tracker are in Konoha. Naruto killed the Great Jagras and a Toki basically monster. I call it just Electric Squirrel. And basically they are in Konoha now. Everything that happens in canon, Ino is out of the matches along with Sakura, and, well, everyone else is just in canon. But we have basically some events that are going to be changing this part from Naruto canon, because after Tsunade's arc, when I mean by Tsunade's arc, there's, Tsunade retrieval, that's when some things are going to change, and Sasuke's retrieval arc, yeah, I'm not going to say much, but you guys can guess, but give me a minute. I just realized I need to do something real quick. Okay, the fact is I just pulled up, basically, Monster Hunter Rise just because of some stuff. But it's also because of the monsters I fought with. So forgot it was the Kadachi. Like I said, just looks like a squirrel to me. But anyways, yeah, just got the name now. So yeah, so I was saying, after Sasuke, I see everything going based on Monster Hunter World now. After that, so we basically, though, are going to start off with the Huntsman, the Commander, and basically the Tracker, are basically Konoha's hotel. As basically they're speaking, the Huntsman goes, "Man, I can't believe it." Which the Commander goes like, "Yes, it is quite basically frightening to find out basically monsters have come here into Dimensional Nations. Do you know the reason why, Tracker?" Which the Tracker just was sighing, goes like, "After scouring basically everything we could on the way here, the only thing I can basically think of is someone's basically taken the monsters from the New World here. Well, to here. But who would do this?" Which the Huntsman would basically just sigh, like, "We have no information besides, well, what could you find at the site of the..." Well, sorry, probably about to cough. Anyways, as I said, the Huntsman says, "What can you find at basically the Great Jaguar site?" As the Tracker just sighs and just shows headband of sound. As, well, the Commander just says, "A sound headband? It was basically sound ninjas. I have a feeling basically it's maybe the work of someone that was from Konoha." The Huntsman goes, "How do you even know that? Like, really, let me guess. A gut feeling?" Which basically the Commander does nod. And the Tracker and the Huntsman just sigh. Which then the Tracker basically says, "Well, enough of that talk. What about those two? Naruto and Ino?" As the Huntsman nods, the Commander just says, basically, this. Well, Naruto basically has a white fatalis sealed inside of him. I don't think basically the Admiral will even mind. He may actually be, shocked at first. Just laugh. The guild would, make a fuss over it, but if we... Which the Huntsman says if we basically have Naruto explain the situation through a letter and such, it can be avoided with them actually trying to question him. Which Commander would nod. Which the Huntsman would agree that would save some time. Or the Admiral will basically talk to him and give a report. Which the Tracker would say, "Now, Ino?" Which, basically, the Huntsman goes, "Handler." But then the Commander will say, "Yes, she will make a good handler with Naruto, but if she wants to become a hunter, it may be difficult to be both." Which, both of them look at him, the Tracker and the Huntsman, and they just, curious look on the Tracker says, "What do you mean by that?" And so the Commander says about, he basically believes that Ino would want to be by Naruto's side while hunting just in case he ever has those episodes of the madness taken over. Which then the Hunter says, "Well, that would be interesting to see a handler actually know how to be a hunter as well. Have a weapon on her at all times." We just have to find out what will be the best suitable one. Which then basically the commander would nod and says, and we cannot deny the ninja training. They won't be back in the Elemental Nations for a very long time. If so, they come to the New World. There's too many phenomenons happening, especially with, as basically the hunter would nod and says the Nine Tails. Do you think though with Naruto he could actually defeat it? The tracker would just says, at this point we don't know, but if my theory is right, when I had a thought after seeing those whisker marks, and getting my information from the Hokage, Naruto's mother was the previous Jinchuriki. That means, in which basically both of them nod, as the commander says, Naruto's chakra has still Nine-Tailed Fox's chakra in him, since it must have also been used during his birth, or growth, with Kushina. The huntsman would nod to that, says it's a possibility, or they're just birthmarks because of that chakra. In which there's calm silence that lasts for about 5 minutes, and the tracker just says, we shouldn't let this basically bother us, or try to think of it. To be honest, I'm more interested in the weapon that Naruto has. Do you think it could be anything special? Which both of the hunters, the commander and the hunter look at each other, as the huntsman just says, I don't know, but if he was able to handle, basically his fatalis electricity, then there has to be something special about that sword. It's impossible for a normal, basically, ninja sword or kadachi, basically, to even able to handle any, powers of a monster. It wouldn't work properly. In which, basically, they both nod, the commander and the tracker. So, they say, the commander says, tomorrow we have to meet up at the Hokage. Naruto will basically come to Hokage Tower and will help basically train them in. We'll ask Ino and Naruto which basically path they want to be while they are in the New World. A hunter, or basically a handler or researcher. Blacksmith. We have to give them options. In which both of them nod. And after they basically get everything ready to sleep, the three of them go to bed. Sleep for the night, basically, and we go to the next day, because I don't think Naruto would, do anything besides sleep. Well, train for a little bit and eat, too, but sleep, no, nevertheless. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but whatever. Okay, so we basically have him where the hunter, the tracker, and the commander are in basically the office of the third Hokage. As well, the commander goes, so wait, you're telling me you wanted Naruto to be trained by this student of yours, and basically in everything in what he knew? In which the Hokage nodded, and basically he then goes, and he is his godfather, who basically abandoned him for 13 years. In which basically the Hiruzen nods again. And he goes, well, I basically am very surprised that you have basically not have tried to have Naruto even learn of his heritage until that happened, which, hold up. Alright, just had to double check. So, as I was saying, after that incident, as Hiruzen nods to that, and sighs, basically. And he goes, so, I'm going to be, giving Naruto everything of his parents, fully. do you think you can convert the money amount from both Uzumaki clan and Namikaze, funds into basically the money you use in the new world? In which the commander does nod. And the hunter basically would say, and basically your student, Jiraiya, which Hiruzen looks, and he just says, that's the council. Everyone was shocked by this. I even basically had to reveal Naruto's heritage. They were shocked. They basically thought, because of the whisker marks, he was a demon. They said. And basically the tracker sighs and says to Hiruzen, and let me guess, you told them the truth. Which Hiruzen nods and says, with a smirk, Danzo was basically very disappointed. It was funny to see him in shock and outrage, saying they had no Jinchuriki this whole entire time. They don't even know about Naruto's, Jinchuriki status as a white fatalis one. And the commander goes, good. Now, may I ask you a question, Hiruzen? He goes, yes. How did Jiraiya take it? And that's when he gets grimaces. He did not take it well. In fact, he most likely hated it. The part of him have to leave Konoha. I've come to realize Naruto's position here was never safe. And I've been an old fool. I have many flashbacks of Naruto in the hospital due to that. That's why I accepted it. And the tracker goes, and Ino's father? Inoichi Yamanaka? But basically Hiruzen pauses and thinks, he goes, that was very surprising. He's overprotective of his daughter. And when I basically told him about the Fifth Fleet, he wanted you people wanted Ino to be a part of. He basically wanted someone to go there with her to protect her, someone from his clan. And when I told Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki would go, he accepted it easily. It was, as basically the huntsman says, strange. So he nods to that. And the commander thinks, he goes, maybe he wanted Naruto and her to get together? Which Hiruzen just actually shrugs. Before they can talk anymore, they hear basically a knock at the door, and it's Ino. She goes, Third Hokage? It's me, Ino Yamanaka, and Naruto Uzumaki. May we come in? As Hiruzen says, come on in. And they both do. So when they come in, they see everyone there. In which, basically, Naruto goes, hey Gigi, what do you want us for? Hiruzen says, Naruto, Ino. The commander, the huntsman, and the tracker would like to basically train you both. And, anything basically you will want to go to the new world since they will be here, since this was the final village. Ino and basically Naruto blink, and they just eyes wide in shock and ask, wait, really? Naruto says. Ino just nods in agreement. Which the tracker just smirks and goes, of course. Besides, we need to know basically what type of weapons you want to use, Naruto. You have a main weapon and basically learn Seals how to carry 2 other weapons on you, maybe. Which Naruto's thinking about and actually, can't see that actually happening. In which Hiruzen goes, before I forget, he throws Naruto his, keys. He goes, Gigi, these are keys to your parents' home. I should have gave you them when I told you a long time ago, but I forgot. Too much stuff was happening at that time, and since Vitalis told you already, you might have already gone there or looked. I do not know for sure. So I'm giving you these keys to go there and take wherever you want. It'll be sad to see you go, Naruto. This old man will miss you very much. Which Naruto sighs, like, yeah, I actually kind of gave up on being Hokage to begin with. Which that kind of shocks Ruse and Ino, but then basically, Fatalis, inside the seal just sighs and thinks to himself. He realized it basically last night he truly did. In which Hiruzen goes, so you do not want to become Hokage? Which he goes, there's no point. This village will never accept me. Seems like, even if I'd done something. They've been acting strange and I can't really take it. Which Hiruzen just says, they know about your heritage. He goes, oh, figures as much. Hypocrites, really. They hate me because they thought I was a demon. Now they basically want to get on my good side and praise me. They really are hypocrites, GG. As Naruto says it with narrow eyes. And he basically sighs and thinks, this village. They truly have wasted basically this boy that could have become the hero that Minado wanted. But they hated him and now he can't stand them for just being nice to him. They truly have fallen. No, the village has fallen because I let it. As Hiruzen says with a soft smile on his face and nods to him, he was like, they are Naruto. Now, whenever you leave to go to the New World, I wanted you to be trained in the shinobi arts. Which, as soon as he says that, Jiraiya makes his entrance. But he does this Hotai Kabuki dance and, his shenanigans. He just be serious. He goes like, Pierce goes, hi. He says with a smile, as Hiruzen says, trained by my student. In which Ino basically blinks and she, eyes wide, goes, You're Jiraiya, the Toad Sage. Which basically, Naruto doesn't basically even speak. He's just in shock. He goes, wait, you want us to be trained by him? Hiruzen nods. He goes, huh, wow, I don't know what to say, as Jiraiya looks at Naruto, but then, looks sad at him. He goes, yes, I'm gonna train you both. Which Naruto basically can see, he looks sad from him, and now he's, kind of getting that look away. He goes, Naruto narrows his eye, he goes, why would you look at me so sad? Which Jiraiya goes well, as just Vitalis just kind of remembers, goes it says it's so casual, and Naruto goes oh, he's your godfather. Immediately as soon as Naruto hears that, he punches Jiraiya as Jiraiya did block the punch of his hand, but the fact is, his hand was shoved into his face as Naruto punched him. Still, sent him flying out of basically the window, as that punch was also enhanced by chakra. As Naruto's eyes were glowing, and he goes, how dare you come back to my life when you abandoned me? In which everyone hears a few minutes later the sound of a girly scream happening as Naruto basically just blinks and he says, did I punch him somewhere? As Hiruzen says, you punch him into the girl's side of the hot spring, Naruto. As Naruto looks at his fist, looks at the window, looks at his fist again, and he goes huh, I guess when I'm angry, merge of basically me being Jinchuriki of a white Vitalis plus chakra equals pain. Which basically Vitalis actually smirks and he goes yes, it does. Now, never use those on comrades. Got it? As Naruto just nods. Which, will go to Naruto and grab his hand and he looks at, his eyes are so glowing, but, they glowing red as they suddenly, going back to blue. And she goes, you okay? Why did you punch him? He goes oh, just found out basically Jiraiya the Toad Sage is my godfather. And he abandoned me for 13 years. As when heard that, as Hiruzen sighs, he goes, yes, it was due to his spy network, and by assistance of him basically doing that, he also said he couldn't basically have a child with him while he's moving around. The huntsman, the huntsman basically says, so wait, you wanted Naruto to be here in the village, convince Jiraiya, and then he goes, well, Jiraiya was adamant at first for taking Naruto with until I said wait till he's older, and when I tried to, which Naruto gets, he goes like, and so he never took me when it got dangerous, as Hiruzen nods. He sighs. He was like, well, at least you tried, Gigi. As Jiraiya comes back with a poof and he has bruises and he says, I deserve that. He goes, you deserve a lot more, but I want you to get this training done. Which Jiraiya nods solely to that. So, as Naruto just realized, he goes, wait, Ino, what did your dad say about you coming to the New World with me? Tristan basically has a bright smile and says, he agreed. Just, I, had to get my clan's air status. Which Naruto's eyes widen and then he goes, wait, did I? Which Ino sighs, goes, no, Naruto, you didn't. It's the fact is, if I become a hunter, or, well, become a handler, I really can't come back since you're gonna need me a lot. But it's only temporary until I come back. I had to learn all the jutsus and such. And my father will know when I master a jutsu rather jutsu when basically this happens, as he says, as Naruto sees her holding up basically a diagram of a scroll having basically a symbol on it, and then basically it's white, and then the symbol of it goes green. Which then he blinks, he goes, huh, so he made it where Seal would show where it's white, and then when it glows green, you read it and master it, right? She just nods. He goes, well, that's gonna be cool. She goes, yep. So, I still can become a clan heir, just when I basically decide to come back. You know? As she rubs the back of her head with a smile. As Naruto does have a soft smile on his face. But he goes, but still, I kind of feel bad for taking away from your family. I guess it's kind of selfish of me. Huh. In some way or form. Where she sighs, he goes, no, Naruto, you're fine. As then all of a sudden Jiraiya basically coughs into his hand, he goes like, sorry to ruin this touching moment. As Naruto and Ino just look at him and then kind of look at each other and just realize Ino's still holding his hand. Ino realizes and Naruto realizes as they back away from each other by, jumping back, and both of their faces are red. In which everyone has a chuckle at that. Which Naruto goes like, so anyways, where you guys want to go train? I mean, gotta go to my family home and see what my parents left me. In which basically the huntsman, commander, and tracker says, we can always go to your, family's home and see. In which basically they would nod. So, what happens is very simple. They say goodbye to Hiruzen, and they do go to the Namikaze/Uzumaki home. When they get there, it's not big like the Hyuga's compound, but it's only a house. In which Naruto goes, I would have lived here, huh? In which Jiraiya does nod. He was like, yes, you would have. But it didn't happen. So, when Naruto basically goes up to basically the gate, he would try to open it, but nothing happens. As Jiraiya says, you need to use a blood on the seal. It's a blood seal. As Naruto would nod and by his finger and does on the seal and such, it opens. And from there on, you will kind of do basically a skip because of, one, basically Naruto will open up the door and he will just explore. So we'll skip by basically maybe an hour as Naruto and Ino came back because of he would have found his room that would have, the place that would have been his room, and Jiraiya and Ino were there with Naruto and he cried. And James saw a picture of his parents and the way basically one of them was where Kushina was pregnant and Minato and her were hugging each other. And he saw the love and smile and such, so it was very emotional. So yeah, after an hour of all exploring and him basically become an emotional wreck, we basically have when Naruto, Jiraiya come back and they're basically in the living room. As the hunter, the commander, and basically the tracker says, "Everything alright?" Which Naruto goes, "Yeah, just a little bit emotional." Which all three of them nod, as the commander says, "Well, we already checked the backyard and it seemed to have everything basically you'll need for ninja training. And it's big enough basically for us to, show you what you need as a hunter." Which Naruto just nods. And so they will get up from the couches, all three, basically them, and they'll go out to the backyard. And, well, for some rare reason, when they get out there, basically they have like woods and bushes. There's a rustle in the bushes. As when they basically hear that, Naruto's like, is that supposed to happen? Which basically Jiraiya goes like, "No, it's not. Just need to check on something real quick." As all of a sudden, a big giant boar appears with large tusks. As Naruto goes like, "Huh? A big giant boar? How did that get here?" As goes like, "Huh, never saw one around Konoha that big." As just the tracker was like, "That's a bull drum." As the huntsman's like, "How?" As basically Jiraiya's like, "That's a bull drum? It's just a boar." As basically Commander was like, "Yes, it highly resembles a boar, but it's a fierce monster. Well, for lower rank ones, but still. So adult version of its Bolganiard? If I pronounced that correct." As the tracker says, "Iffy on that one. It's been a while since I read up on them." Which basically he will nod to that. As the huntsman goes like, "But still, how did it get here at Konoha?" As Naruto just sighs, be like, "Doesn't matter. I'll just use a shadow clone to get rid of it." As basically Naruto, makes one shadow clone as it runs away. Well, not runs away. I mean, runs towards the bull drum. As it basically punches it, basically, because it would dodge an attack and then punch in the side. As it looks at the clone Naruto and gets angry and charge at Naruto. As it, the clone would dodge, and it would hit like 3 trees and such. As then Naruto's clone would smirk and run towards it. As then all of a sudden it just, swings around real quick as it slides underneath the monster, dodging the attack. As when the clone actually sighs because it actually thought it was going to get hit, all of a sudden it stands up as the, bull drum basically turns around again as one of its tusk basically, pokes Naruto's basically clone in the butt. As it basically just yells, but also poofs. As Naruto goes like, "Hey! Why the heck did you poke me?" As basically Naruto basically, "Wait, it poked me." As Ina goes like, "Huh? Where?" He goes like, Jiraiya goes, "Let me guess, in the butt." He goes, "Yeah." Where Jiraiya just laughs at it. He goes like, classic way of basically how to get launched in the air. Naruto just sighs, be like, "But still, why?" And how do I remember the clone? It's memories. Where Jiraiya looks at him and goes like, you didn't know about that, but the shadow clones? They transfer memories and basically knowledge on everything basically you read. And also basically how you can train with them is the best way possible. Which Naruto was like, "Huh?" As basically the huntsman goes like, "Look, we don't have time for it. Just kill the bull drum. Let's get this over with." As Naruto sighs and takes up the sword that he's been carrying with him, as, Yeah, Naruto will run at it. The Boldrum will basically hear Naruto run and just start charging as Naruto would jump and flip over the tusk and slash at the monster with the tip as it basically makes a scar over the Boldrum's eye as basically then when Naruto lands, it kicks him basically in the side of the head, sending him flying into 3 trees as the Boldrum starts to run and basically back where it was coming from. As Naruto was like, I really did not pay attention with that. I thought it would be slow for his size. As runs over to Naruto, asks if everything okay. Okay. He was like, yeah, just my head's a little bit spinning. Which Jiraiya says, let's get you to the hospital and get that checked out. So after they run to the hospital, get checked out, they come back to the compound, and basically they say it's a good thing you didn't suffer much damage. It's just they say you're just gonna be spinning for a while. Which Naruto nods, but then he says, but I'm glad for one thing. Which they basically looking for, go like, huh? Because I learned about the Shadow Clone Jutsu. I am going to abuse this jutsu so badly. Which Naruto gets slapped gets bunked on the head by Ino, goes, no. For what Jiraiya said, everything you get back. So that means you basically pop all the clones like I know you would. You'll suffer basically brain damage. And you don't have a healing factor. Which basically Naruto was like, yeah, I know. I don't have. As then all of a sudden, he hears in his head, actually, you sort of do have a healing factor. As then Naruto basically literally says in his head, wait, what? I have a healing factor? And, no wonder why sometimes I healed quickly and sometimes I didn't. He goes, yes, you just use your chakra to start healing yourself, or, well, I help. Increase it. And, yeah. How should I say this? Mother, you also may have the Uzumaki chains. Uzumaki what now? Uzumaki chains. By the way, I double checked it to see if... he knows about his parents and who they are, but I never really checked to see if I made them, made Fatalis tell him about the Uzumaki chains and such and everything. So, just in case if I didn't, just, making sure I'm doing this now, even if I did, just repeating myself then. So Naruto goes like, so this is a Kekai Genkai of the, Genkai of the basically Uzumaki clan, which he does nod, but he says, but usually they also have maybe other Uzumaki, clan members may have other Kekai Genkais. So, you have more than one, actually, in your blood system. I'll have to check sometime when you're older to handle them. But right now, you have the healing and maybe the Uzumaki chains. Because Uzumaki's chakra are usually denser than normal. That's why they are the nearly perfect, or are the perfect Jinchurikis. Which Naruto nodded as outside everyone saw his eyes went out of focus as then Naruto comes back as Jiraiya goes like, so why did you stop there and say you don't have a healing factor? Which Naruto goes like, oh, well, kinda do. Uzumaki bloodline. Or, Kekai Genkai. Which Horizon goes like, yes, besides the Uzumaki chains, right? It was, yeah, since you're my godfather, you knew. He goes, yes. Which basically everyone looks at him, but then the huntsman goes like, yes. Uzumaki chains, the one that can hold down Nabiju easily, because they siphon off chakra, which basically Jiraiya would nod. And so the commander was like, excellent, this could help basically with the QB back in the New World. And which Jiraiya goes like, wait, the QB? It's a theory. He goes, yes, but didn't you guys seal that away in, a sword? He goes, which the huntsman goes, yes, we did, but it gained too much strength and it may have basically found a way how to keep itself within the sword still by maybe making a chakra or somehow fuse itself with nature around to become a monster of its own. We believe it may be chakra since it had immense amount of chakra. And so Jiraiya, just in shocking, goes, Naruto, we're gonna start basically training you on everything of your parents. So make basically as many clones as you can, and let's get this started. Which are basically, Naruto nods and makes basically the clones as many as he could. Which was a good amount. Maybe like, for right now, though, he probably only made like 500, which Jiraiya looks at Naruto goes, I know you can make more. I was like, well, don't want to overwhelm everything, because 500 is still a lot, and we don't know where you're going to basically be teaching me in. Which Jiraiya just thinks on and just nods. So, those 500, Jiraiya takes them over to a section of the area, puts them into groups, basically 5 groups out of 100 each, which he gives a whole bunch of paper and ink to, well, one group. He has them basically give them one basically for elemental affinities, which is wind, water, and lightning. Which basically he said because his lightning is stronger or equals stronger than his wind. Which actuality I'm just making the same. Which Jiraiya just basically would think because of fatalis his lightning would be stronger, but then he kind of realizes that it is equal to his wind. So technically, with water, he may be able to actually make storm release, but who knows? Which Naruto's clone naturally smirks at that. So he tells them basically the first step of wind manipulation. The third group, chakra control exercise, which basically they are going to be taught in many different ways of chakra control. The fourth group, taijutsu, after he gets basically the scrolls for taijutsu style, or as many as basically he could find inside the compound, the home, basically, as the fifth group. He wants basically them to basically read basically a book, from basically the library that they have inside the house. So, while that's all going on, Ino and Naruto basically are, from the hunter, the commander, and the tracker, decide on what they're going to basically do. So, the commander basically asks the hunter to take out a scroll. As the scroll pops out basically from his wrist, and he opens it, and basically multiple seals are there as each weapon pops out. As the commander says this, this is basically the long sword, the great sword, the light bow gun, the heavy bow gun, the bow, insect glaive, hammer. I'm trying to basically think. Basically switch axe. Give me a minute. Charge blade, bow, lance, sword and shield, dual blades, gun lance, hunter horn. As Naruto's looking at each one of them, but then he looks at his, sword, and he basically looks at the long sword. He goes like, "This, is this kind of like designed like a long sword?" In which basically the hunter looks at it, and he would nod. He goes, "It sort of does." Let me see it real quick. As when he does look at it, he basically kind of realized that he was like, I am at the design once. Because it actually looks like a miniature longsword, basically. Which Naruto was like, wait, what? He was, yes, this was basically in a village in the New World. One that I haven't seen in a while. Maybe a good 10 years? No. 24 years from... Yeah, may have been 24 years. I've done so many things, I've lost track. He was like, wait, so what does it remind you of? The Tamanowo? Tamanowo? Yeah, the Tamanowo? Basically, Tamonowo. Yeah, the Tamanowo sword. From the village, what was it called again? As he's trying to basically figure it out. As when basically the name comes back to him, he basically just sighs and goes like, well, that basically seems to be quite a coincidence. Which Naruto was like, what do you mean, like, coincidence? And which village did it come from? He just sighs and basically... actually, I thought I actually could find the village, so give me a real quick second. Okay, I found it. It's basically Kamura Village. As Naruto basically says, so, wait, if that's from basically the village that you're talking about, then why was it in Konoha? How could it be in Konoha? Or in Elemental Nations? As basically, while Jiraiya heard, basically them saying that, as he basically makes a shadow clone to watch over the clones, he basically goes, so, what about this basically, you said about the sword being in Konoha, or, well, the Elemental Nations, as they show the sword as, not Minato, but Jiraiya basically looks at the sword and he goes like, interesting design. He goes like, yes, this was from basically the Kamura village, back in the New World. It's sort of like this, with some people having ninja outfits or such, but they basically are hunted monsters and not basically being, well, ninjas, as the huntsman would say. As Jiraiya will look at it and ask if he can see the sword, as basically in this version of the Tamino Woa? Yeah, the Tamino Woa. As, I'm gonna double check if I got that pronunciation right, because I'm basically freaking hating myself when I say something wrong. Yeah, the Tamino Woa. As he looks at it, he basically sees the inscriptions on the sword as he somehow can read to my son, MN. As basically he blinks, and basically his eyes widen after he realizes what MN meant. As he takes out basically a three-pronged kunai as a memento of Minato, and then he looks at the sword and looks back at it as he would see basically a marking of MN on the kunai as a basically, not a seal mark, but an engraved mark saying that, as basically Jiraiya says that this can't be. He said he didn't remember anything after the crash, which this catches the commander's ears and says, what crash? What's basically got you so paranoid or freaked out, Jiraiya? As Jiraiya just sighs and goes, well, you probably wouldn't believe me, but the sword has the same initials basically as Minato's name, MN. Which basically he shows the three-pronged kunai with the marker on it, the marker of MN on it. As basically Naruto grabs the sword immediately and looks at his beloved son, MN. As Naruto then sees the three-pronged kunai and then look back at the sword, he goes like, so the sword must have been my dad's? Which basically Jiraiya did says this, that kind of confirms it, and it says, Minato said he had a weapon that he sold it to some, basically, pawn shop in a village for cash. Just to even make it all the way to Konoha. I guess this was his sword, and one of the sound ninjas bought it. Which Naruto just says, so wait, does that mean my dad was from the village, from that village, as basically everyone's looking at Naruto and then basically looking, at each other as the huntsman says, goes out to Naruto, puts a hand on his shoulder, goes like, if so, then that means you must have basically a family there. And they had no idea you even existed. As basically Naruto says, fatalis, did you know? As fatalis is actually just, shocked and doesn't say enough, as when Naruto basically immediately goes on his mindscape to go glare at him, he sees Vitalis is shocked, as Vitalis basically snaps out of it and looks at Naruto, and he has confusion in his, look in his eyes. He goes, I didn't know about this. He was supposed to be a hunter? But why would he not kill me then? He just sees Vitalis basically ignore Naruto when he's saying this, as he gets out of his mindscape immediately, and he says, he just whispers about the huntsman, and everyone can hear him because it was that quiet. It was like, Vitalis didn't know either. As Jiraiya just sighs and goes, so Minato had a lot more secrets than I thought. Or, I knew he was keeping a secret about something, but still, this much? So I guess being a huntsman was in your blood. A hunter of monsters. Which Naruto just nods slowly. So, as the huntsman would get up and he goes like, now, while all of these revelations have been very interesting, let's get back to the task at hand. So, he has Naruto basically look at, each weapon. Try to feel which sword, or, well, not sword, which weapon will be best for him, as Naruto still thinks the long sword, but he tests out each weapon just to get a feel for it. Well, not actually test them out, but, wielding them. As he, doesn't feel right with only the long sword. He feels okay with dual blades and basically, well, the bow. So, as the basically tracker will look at Ino, goes, so, you want to become a handler? Which Ino will look at basically the tracker goes like, handler? She goes, yes. You'll be Naruto's side, his basically partner in this, besides a Palico. Which Naruto, like, huh? Which the commander says, you can say a helper in you when you basically go out for hunting. Which Naruto nodded in understanding. Which Ino goes like, so what do I have to do? Which basically, the tracker goes like, oh, simple. You basically help Naruto with anything you would know about basically a monster, give him basically any information, even basically, help him basically analyze the tracks and where something could go and such, that sort of thing. There's much more to it, but you'll learn on the fly, or well, find your own way of doing things. Which Ino will nod, as then the huntsman will say, but if you want to be by Naruto's side truly because of his madness, then you have to also become a hunter. As Ino will be like, well, not be like, but Ino will say, so I will have to become a handler and then a hunter? But wait, who will basically help out, basically give us any information while we're out in the field, basically go after our prey? As the commander says, we'll have another handler with you. Two handlers have never been seen before, but if you are both hunters basically working together, while one of you is also a handler, it'll be way more easier basically for any other information and research on tracks that you may find out in the field. That will help us, and every other hunter and other handler and researcher out immensely. Which Ino and Naruto would nod, and Ino would just basically look at each weapon as she would basically go for, the dual blades first, and she does like them, but she does go after each basically other weapon. And okay, I probably should have mentioned when I said Naruto would probably main the first sword. I mean, not the first sword. The first weapon he's gonna use will be his main, and then then he'll have two others. So that's why I said he basically felt comfortable with, well, he felt good with basically the longsword, and then he basically chooses, well, the dual blades and the bow. Which, he's not taking them, they're going to have to get their own gear. In which Ino would choose basically the dual blades too, but then the light bow gun. In which basically Naruto goes like, huh, that's interesting for you to choose that. She goes, well, from what I've read from my grandfather's notes, a bow gun and a light bow gun basically have different capabilities. Oh, well, from what I basically can tell from the heavy bow gun's description, it's way more power oriented. Well, yeah, have way more power to it, and while the light bow, not power, power oriented and basically less mobile speed. While the light bow guns doesn't have much power, but it's has basically a lot more mobile speed to it. So Naruto, so one's for heavy, basically assault, and the other is basically for movement and getting a better angle and attacking, correct? She does not. Which Naruto was like, alright, so let's train. As they did, they were taught everything basically they could. Naruto basically, clones did the calligraphy right to see where they were at. And basically the clones that were reading read basically everything they could. They found basically the taijutsu styles that Naruto could learn. And basically the Uzumaki style is, well, all about being basically the unpredictable, while basically Minato's was hummingbird style. So Naruto basically, kind of had an idea for him to basically try to do during the month is try to at least combine hummingbird and with the Uzumaki style's taijutsu. He also basically found out about the Kenjutsu style for the Uzumaki clan, since they are good at seals and basically Kenjutsu. So, while he was basically using a longsword, he was using that out with trying the Kenjutsu style with the longsword. And so it kind of worked. Again, he practiced it, but yeah. And Ino basically was practicing with basically dual blades. Naruto and Ino basically also, kind of go to which weapons they preferred. Naruto preferred to use the longsword first to get a feel for it, then go to the dual blades, and then basically the bow. Ino preferred to basically go with the dual blades first, and then basically the light bow gun. But before all of that, they also had to learn about basically the new world and the old world from basically books or basically lessons from the tracker, and with the basic weapons from the hunter, and the commander basically explaining about basically where they are going to be at and how it's basically run, and what type of monsters basically are also there in the new world and such. So Jiraiya also spent time with Naruto, and basically made a bond there, but knowing that Naruto's gonna leave, he's hoping it's not gonna be so soon. But still, Naruto and basically Jiraiya did made a bond, and that for that whole entire month, Naruto is basically also trained in the taijutsu style, not just his clones. He's also done his physical work because Ino and Naruto need to get stronger. Ino basically has gained strength too, and also trained her chakra control and made her reserves better. She's also been training in her family's basically, jutsus and such, and she's basically proud that she's basically gone so far. Her father is also proud of it and such. So, after basically that, we do have basically, it's the time for the Chunin exams. As Jiraiya basically helped Naruto basically get there, along with, Ino, the huntsman, the tracker, and basically the commander basically are there with Naruto, Jiraiya. with Naruto and Jiraiya. As Jiraiya goes like, well, kid, kid, basically, here we are. You nervous? Naruto just smirks and goes like, no. Kind of wish I became a steel master so I could use basically my father's technique. Wish Jiraiya just sighs like, it's not ready yet, but you think basically you got the Rasengan down? He goes, I was only in the first part. I wasn't even able to even learn it yet. Wish Jiraiya chuckles about it. He goes, I kind of forgot about that. I explained it to you at least. Which Naruto nods. He goes, but still, you learn basically multiple different things. You learn basically your water style, your wind style, and basically your lightning style jutsus pretty easily. I was actually surprised Minato basically had a whole lot of scrolls there. It's kind of a shame I couldn't give you a summoning contract either, since I wouldn't be able to train you at all. But I was even more surprised that your mother had a summoning contract. Which Naruto kind of smirks and goes, yeah. Basically, I'm gonna ask you guys because I want to basically not go with lazily, like I want to say the Uzamakis and like some what ifs are like dragons and such, so I want to hear what you guys basically, would say about the summoning contract. What do you guys think it would, what do you think it should be? Dragons, phoenixes, or basically like tigers or something else? Let me know in the comments. Thanks. Because, yeah, I basically wanted to say dragons, but yeah, I didn't think that would be a good idea. So, just want to ask, what do you guys think? Okay, so, after Naruto says, yeah, can't believe I basically even got one. And that actually kind of upset me right away. It's kind of strange. Which Jiraiya does nod. And so, basically, Commander goes like, Naruto. Got word from the guild, basically, it's going to take a little bit longer for the boat for the 5th fleet to come. But Kumo and all the other countries that basically agreed to it are willing to basically wait for that time and understand. Which Naruto would nod, he goes, I know Iowa said they're coming along. Are they going to... I sent a basically message to basically the Tsuchikage, or the Iowa basically Kage, and asked him about a basically possible scenario. He basically said if basically the brat was going to go to the New World, then he would have no problems with it. And he mentioned this to basically his ninjas, to not basically give any problems. In which Naruto's basically blinking, he goes like, huh. Wait, why? He goes, well, since basically I did basically give the same suggestion to basically every Kage that I could, they basically said they'll have represents people that basically would be their, not their word, but give them news and such and information on how basically their ninjas are doing and how they are accepting of the new lifestyle. Which Naruto was like, oh, so they'll send information to them every single time, huh? He goes, yes. Hold up. Okay, as I was saying, so basically, Naruto would nod in understanding, but he goes, we're about to say something about, yes. They basically are not going to be basically ninjas, per se. They're allowed to keep the headbands, but they must not wear them while in the New World. That's the one thing we must ask. You're allowed to basically use your, if you're in a clan, you're allowed to basically have a copy of your clan scrolls and gain a new home for yourself and do everything you must do with your basically clan techniques and such. Just not wear basically your headbands, since we don't have those in the New World, or in any basically hunter village, or home in that matter. which Naruto, would not understanding. We do though have accessories, and you can have them accessories, but it would make no sense if everyone basically, well, back home basically would be like wondering if this was like a new accessory, and they always have different like marks on the headbands. They all understood, which Rise says makes sense. In my opinion, it does too. So Naruto would not understanding. So how much time we have? I do know take maybe a month or two for it to get back. Well, get over to the elemental nations. Which Naruto will understand. He goes, wait, what do you mean? He goes, yes, the boat had to go back to the old world to get some supplies that were basically they were going to pick up on the way. They decided to drop us off. Which Naruto was like, oh, okay. So Ino basically says, yeah, well, that's all good to know and everything, but Naruto, don't lose out there to Neji, alright? He goes, I won't. I gotta basically defeat Neji for Hinata, even though I don't like her. She stalks me way too much, though. Which Ino says, wait, you knew? He goes like, kind of knew. Fatalis helped. Where she goes, and you don't like her? He goes, nah, yeah. I think I like someone else. I'm not too sure about it yet, though. She basically would, well, eyes wide, but then not an understanding. So, after that, we then have basically the tracker and basically the huntsman basically tell Naruto basically to went out there and show your stuff. Naruto would not. So he's not going to try to go for a promotion. He doesn't really care. So yeah. So we would have basically Naruto go out there in the field as Jiraiya would go to Hokage, as Ino, the tracker, huntsman, and Commander basically go out into the field. Not the field, go out into the stands too. The Jonin senseis basically are surprised to see these people again. Kurano asks, who are you people? Which the Commander, Huntsman, and Tracker will introduce themselves, as then Ino goes like, hey, Choji, Asuma Sensei. As Asuma goes, I know. It's gonna be a shame basically not have you on the team anymore, I already told Choji. As Choji, is looking at Ino, as Ino look at him slowly with a little bit, worried. Look in her eyes as Choji basically just has a kind of smile on his face and goes, follow your dream, I'm not gonna stop you. Shikamaru was also told, and he said it'd be troublesome not to have you around, but he wishes you the best of luck. As basically, hold up. As I was saying, Ino basically smiles at Choji and hugs him. As then Sakura was like, wait, what? As then Ino basically goes, oh, yeah. After she like goes Choji, she basically says, you didn't hurt Sakura. She basically then tells what's gonna happen. As Sakura's eyes widen, she goes, so Naruto is leaving Konoha? She goes, yeah, it's something only he can do. And I'm gonna be there to help him. But Sakura says, me and Sasuke, as she would also add in the Kun suffix, would be able to help him. As the Commander side goes, no. We saw everyone basically of the new generation of Konoha, the Genins. They don't have the potential like Ino and Naruto have. I'm sorry. But you and basically the Sasuke Uchiha will not be able to make it into the new world. But your strength basically will give you the advantage. It would not help you. As Sakura does look down, and she goes, so Team 7's going to, which just says, be disbanded? No. Probably new replacement, but that's it. As says that Sakura will nod. So, as everyone's out there on the field, Naruto basically, meanwhile, is kind of wearing basically something, basically kind of representation of both his clan, basically clan marks, the Uzumaki symbol and then the Namikaze symbol, while basically he's wearing a basically red, white, and basically blue the jacket's red, with one stripe on the left shoulder, basically, yellow, as then basically on the right side of the shoulder, basically there's a line going down that's basically white. As Naruto is also wearing basically black shinobi boots, basically black pants, has basically wrappings around his hands. Well, I mean not hands, I mean his wrist. And basically, and then basically sword on his back, the sword he has. Always. From the Forest of Death. As everyone, kind of sees Naruto also still wearing his headband. But now he has the Uzu, basically, metal part, onto basically the jacket too. The Uzu, basically, headband that his mother had. As everyone's, kind of shocked by Naruto's new look. Oh yeah, he's just probably wearing, like, a black shirt underneath it with his, chain mail, whatever it's called. Anyways. As everything would go like in canon, but Shikamaru asks new clothing. He goes, yeah, want to make a change. As everyone basically is in, the stands kind of hoping to see the Uchiha, basically fight with Gaara, but they also are, some of them are actually kind of interested to see if Naruto versus Neji's fight. Some are still basically betting that Naruto is going to lose, because secretly they still hate him. So, yeah. As when it is time for basically for Orochimaru to come in as the Sand Village Hokage to come in, he basically does do the same greed and stuff, and then does the entire speech. But then the new proctor, because of Heihei, still dies. No, wait, Heihei wouldn't say, but can't, due to the fact Jiraiya has been in the village for that month training Naruto. He was basically out about at night, save Heihei for basically the Sand Village. Got the name of the Jonin that is the teaching Tamari, Kankuro, and Gaara. Baki, there we go, Baki. Baki, he saves him for Baki and such, and yeah. He basically is supposedly to be dead, but not. They think that. So, I knew basically, the proctor and the cannon is there, and he basically, basically showing up, basically who's fighting who and such, as the guy with the basically bandage and metal arm, melody arm basically is gone because Gaara killed him. Dosu? Zaku, and yeah, Dosu basically is gone, Yeah. And so, now though, when it's come to basically the fight, that's the first round, he goes, alright, now then though, we have Hyuga Neji and Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze to please stay down in the arena. As everyone is shocked, everyone that did not heard of it is shocked, like the new, basically the outsiders, the travelers, the visitors, basically, aren't shocked and whispering about it. Well, the children and the Konoha 12 is actually shocked. As basically, including the Sand Village is actually shocked. And Orochimaru's eyes widen. As basically he just hears he hears Shikamaru says his most famous line, troublesome blonde. Well, besides troublesome, it's troublesome blonde, basically. As Naruto smirks, he goes, I know I am. Don't wear out, Shikamaru. Which Shika just smirks and, pats him on the shoulder and goes, good luck. Which Naruto just nods. After everyone leaves the field, Neji and Naruto are staring at each other, as Neji just says, you're gonna lose here, where I was fated to win today, Uzumaki. As Naruto looks at him and just kind of legit just, glares at him and goes, fate, and don't believe in your fate bullshit. I know basically fate can be changed, and I'm gonna show you. Besides, my fate changed a long time ago. And you cannot beat me, Neji Hyuga. Besides, there's people like you who I hate. Not despise, that's for other people. But I hate people like you, taking your anger on someone else. That's for sure. Which, Neji basically just glaring at him. And then basically he says, Proctor, start the match. And it's technically 5:23 at night, so, well, in the morning, I mean, not at night. And I'm going to end it here. Because I want to get the fight scene, with Neji and basically Naruto in the next video. And then I want to go into the, Gaara fight. Because everything from there just goes to Ken. I can just go into that Gaara fight and, then go straight right into when they're going to go get Tsunade. And then I can, do the Sasuke retrieval arc, because Sasuke is going to be kidnapped. Not basically willingly go. So, yeah. Anyways. Hope you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are. And I'm ending it here. Bye, everyone.